بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. So tonight's maxim is about عدم التذكية. عدم التذكية means the non-purity, depending on how you look at it. Tazkiyah is when you purify the animal before eating it. Some people, they say non-Islamic slaughtering. You could call it non-Islamic slaughtering. If you want to use the subcontinent language, India and Pakistan, non-zabiha. Non-zabiha. But I put non-purity because tazkiyah is when you purify. Mudhakka, to purify the animal before you eat it. So, non-purity. What do we mean by that? Any clue? What does it mean? The maxim of non-purity.
Does it apply?
Yes. Yeah, Hamid, go ahead, please.
Does it apply to animals?
It does apply to animals. So what does it mean?
In a Islamic way?
So why do we say none? Adam, none.
Probably we don't need to, because it doesn't
what?
need to be
Why?
purified because
Already what?
pure.
This maxim means that when you come across an animal or meat, okay, and then you don't know the source of it, then you should assume that this animal is non-dhabiha, is not slaughtered Islamically. Why do we say this? Now let's begin with this. Why do we need to purify the animal? For what purpose? Mostly for what?
Eating.
For eating and?
Health and...
No, forget about health. Islam requires us to do dhabiha, slaughter the animal according to special process. Number one, to be able to eat the animal, to eat the meat. And number two, for what?
Sacrifice.
No, you don't understand what I'm saying.
For certain rituals.
But for what? For what is the second purpose? The one purpose to eat. What is the second purpose?
Blessing.
Beside eating the meat?
Charity.
No. The second purpose.
Oh, you can use the for leather.
Exactly. You can wear the libas, the dress. So you can use the leather, you can use the hair, you can use, whatever you get out of that animal. So for the purpose of eating and wearing the leather. So this is why the animal has to be Islamically slaughtered. Now, here, so if the animal is not mudhakka, non-pure, has not died in an Islamic way, then we cannot eat the meat, neither we can wear the leather. Especially during the salat. You can wear it outside salat. But during the salat, otherwise you have a leather jacket and you're wearing it, but it is najis. So if it touches rain or sweat, then when you touch it, then it is not clean. Okay? But if it is dry, you can wear it. You can wear it, but you cannot pray with it. Whether it's a jacket or it's a belt. There is a debate when it comes to the belt. Why?
Is it just the belt that there's a debate?
Why we have it when it comes to the belt?
Because there's a mixture in most belts. It's
Yeah.
not pure leather.
No.
You don't know
It's
where
No, not a pure. It could be You mean not non-genuine? Genuine. It could be the jacket too. The jacket. That's a different idea. Let's not discuss that. Whether we are debating it's genuine or non-genuine, that's another question. But when it comes to the belt, some people say, some scholars, many of them, they say you cannot wear it. But those who say you can wear it, they say the belt is not libas. It's not a dress. But those are a small minority. Okay? So, what is the first ruling on seeing the meat?
You said non-dhabiha.
Non-dhabiha, the asl. The asl is to treat it non-dhabiha. Unless there are amara. Amara, we took amara in the usul class. Amara. Amara. Amara means what? Sign or indication. We have signs. What are the signs? Where do you buy the meat from? Where is the restaurant? Where is this restaurant located?
Neighborhood of Muslims.
Hmm?
Neighborhood of Muslims.
Suqul Muslimin.
Yeah,
Suqul Muslimin. If it is in Suqul Muslimin, then you treat that as dhabiha, as mudakka. We are speaking when amara is not there. We don't have amara. We don't have any sign. So if there is no sign, and then you have doubt about it, you are not certain, you have no prior knowledge about it, and you have doubt, shak, then how do you treat that meat, that animal? How do you treat it? As no, don't say najis, because we will come to that issue, because there is a debate between the scholars whether every meter non-mudhakka, is it najis necessarily? Sayyid al-Khoi says no. You cannot eat it, but it's not najis. We will come that to the end, at the end. Okay? So if the souq, the market is not souq al-Muslimin, then we treat that as none. Now, we have two maxims that we studied before. One of them, the maxim that says asalat at-tahara. This is one of the first maxims that we studied. The second maxim is asalat al-hil. Al-hil. The maxim of a purity, treating everything as a pure when you don't know. كل شيء لك طاهر. Everything, whether it's a human being, animal, furniture, vehicles, material, metal, is what? The soil, the water is considered pure. حتى تعلم, until you know otherwise. So this is one maxim. The second maxim, asalatul hil, everything is halal. When you come across something, you don't, is this halal or haram? I assume it's halal unless I know. But not for someone who's ignorant, who doesn't know religion. Because some people, they know nothing about religion. They cannot assume everything is halal. But if you study religion and you know what is halal and haram, then you come across a situation, you don't know whether this is halal or haram, then you assume it's halal. Okay? So why we don't apply these two maxims to tazkiyah, to the animal, and say, I don't know, I have no knowledge, this is an animal slaughtered in front of me, and I am in a non-Islamic market. I'm in China, I'm in America. Why don't we apply these two maxims? So why don't they overtake this and override this?
This has the Quran as its what's the evidence? Madrak.
This is a stronger maxim for this situation than the other ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because this has madrak, this has an evidence. And the evidence of this overrides these two maxims. More powerful. They call it hukuma. If you have heard this before, hukuma, it means it governs. Hakim, it governs over these. It governs. It takes precedence over this, over these maxims. And it overrides them and sidelines them. Okay? Hakima. Now, what is, my friends, the madrak for this? What is the madrak for this maxim? The madrak is chapter 5, Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 3. So it's 5, 3. Al-Ma'idah, verse number 3. حرمت عليكم, forbidden upon you. What is forbidden upon you? حرمت عليكم, forbidden unto you are al-maytatu. Number 1, mayta. Mayta. Al-mayta. Al-maytatu. Al-mayta, carry on. Okay? So, mayta. حرمت عليكم, forbidden unto you are, carry on, mayta, and blood. والدم ولحم الخنزير, the flesh of the swine. وما أهل, these are the food that are we cannot eat. It's mentioned in chapter 5, verse 3. These are the types of food that Muslims cannot enjoy. Number 1, mayta, carry on. What does mayta mean here?
Dead animal
Dead animal, exactly.
lying there.
Yes. Dead animal, or the animal that had been killed or slaughtered un-Islamically. Okay? Waddam, blood, drinking blood, even 1 drop. Even if you have gum disease and you bleed, you are not allowed to swallow your blood. وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِير, the flesh of the swine. وَمَا أُهِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ. وَمَا أُهِلَّ, that which has been offered to other than God. So there is a question here, Dr. Ali. Some people, they bring goosefand, sheep, kharoof for Abbas alayhi salam, for Imam Hussein, for Sayyida Zainab, for Imam Rida. And he says this is for Abbas alayhi salam. But Allah says, وَمَا أُهِلَّ بِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ, that has been dedicated to other than God. لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ, don't eat. حُرِّمَت. So how do we solve this problem?
Well, it's بإذن الله, not من دون الله.
No. And that which has been offered to other than God.
No, but I'm saying when they're doing it بإذن الله. They're giving it with God's permission.
No, because the guy, he says, I offer this sheep, this cow, this animal for Abbas alayhi salam. I'm taking it to Abbas. I've seen them. When they buy it in the market, he says, this is for Abu al-Fadl Abbas. This is for Imam Hussein.
Now, sometimes I would think that they're asking for shafa'ah, so this is a sort of...
They are asking for shafa'ah, definitely.
Yeah.
But Quran says, be careful.
But their intention is, it's difficult.
Well, their intention is Islamic way, but it's just like the property they're donating to in that way.
But Allah says you cannot donate. Allah says you cannot offer the animal to other than me. وَمَا أُهِلَّ بِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ. This is the Quran.
In the way of God. That's what it said. In the way of God.
We have to, no. Not bi'idnillah. This has nothing to do bi'idnillah. That is to call, to do dua. But this is another issue. This is offering the animal. It should not be offered to other than God. It should not be killed for other than God. This is exactly the meaning. You don't slaughter the animal and say this is for Abbas, this is for Hussein, this is for Ali, this is for Muhammad. You can't. You may sacrifice it for God, but you say the thawab, the reward of feeding those people here, the poor, the needy, or the guest, any person, goes for Imam Hussein, goes for Abu al-Fadl Abbas. This is the difference. It's very, very delicate difference. But many people don't pay attention. Many people don't pay attention to this delicate. I've seen them, those who come from countryside, you know, this kharoof, this for Abu al-Fadl Abbas. They should say that I sacrifice it for Allah, but then the outcome, the reward, I ask Allah to send it to the soul of Abu al-Fadl. This is the exact way. And this is the nadhr also. This is how the nadhr should be. We don't do nadhr for Abu al-Fadl Abbas. We don't do nadhr for al-Banin. We don't do nadhr for the Prophet. We do nadhr for no one. We say, I do nadhr for Allah. Lillahi ta'ala alayya nadhrun. For God upon me there is a vow. Okay? If He cures me, I will feed certain people and I ask God to send the thawab, the reward of this feeding, of this clothing, of this medicine to Abu al-Fadl Abbas, the soul of Abu al-Fadl.
So you can send it, to anybody that you choose.
Anybody, yes, yeah. But you don't do nadhr for that person. Nadhr is for God, only God. And this is very clear from this verse.
Same thing with the Hajj. I mean, you're hajjing on somebody that
No,
has,
no.
You're doing it.
No, Dr. Ali, Hajj, when you do niyaba,
Right.
you are going to Hajj. Your Hajj is dedicated to God, qurbatan Allah, but you are doing it on behalf of someone else who cannot go. Either he's dead or he's still alive but he's disabled.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So it's the intention is to God, but the thawab is for this.
Exactly. وَمَا أُهِلَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ بِهِ وَالْمُنْخَنِقَةُ. The other animal, the animal that has been strangled. If they strangle the animal, you cannot eat it anymore. وَالْمُنْخَنِقَةُ وَالْمَوْقُوذَةُ. What is mawquda? Beaten to death. Beaten on the head, let's say, with an object, with a bullet, with whatever. وَالْمَوْقُوذَةُ وَالْمُتَرَدِّيَ. Mutaraddiya, the animal that falls from a height, either mountain or whatever, and then dies. وَالنَّطِيحَ. Natiha, the animal that has been gored by another animal. You know when they fight? They hit each other with their horn. So that one also, if it dies, we cannot eat it. وَمَا أَكَلَ السَّبُعُ. وَمَا أَكَلَ السَّبُعُ. The animal that has been beaten or they say not eaten, mangled by a beast. Sabu' is beast. Any wild animal is called sabu'. Okay? If he comes, so the remaining of it you cannot eat. If he leaves some, usually they don't leave anything behind. But if they leave behind, then you can't eat. إِلَّا مَا ذَكَّيْتُمْ. Except what you do tazkiyah. Except what you purify. You slaughter Islamically. Then you can eat. And then he continues to say, وَمَا ذُبِحَ عَلَى النُّصُبِ. This is the Jahilis used to do in Mecca. They bring the animal to the altar to sacrifice it on the stone altars for the idols. They kill the animal in front of an idol. So they sacrifice it for the idol. ذُبِحَ عَلَى النُّصُبِ. This is nusub. Nusub is the altar. This is also forbidden. You cannot eat. وَأَن تَسْتَقْسِمُوا بِالْأَزْلَامِ. Also, there were a way of killing the animal that which you allot with divine arrows. So they shoot them. They consider this,
Gambling.
some sort of gambling. Okay. So this is also cannot be eaten. ذَلِكُمْ فِسْقٌ. All these, the above mentioned, are what? Abomination, fisq, or a sin, or forbidden. ذَلِكُمْ فِسْقٌ. This is iniquity. Yes.
So if they kill for sport,
Yeah.
but then they eat it after.
They sport. They no. If his intention when he goes for hunting, the intention is to eat the animal after hunting it, then it's okay. For personal.
But sport is different.
Yes.
Sport, he's not going there to eat it, he's just
No,
killing the
I
animal.
mean some.
Yeah.
I'm saying he's gonna eat it after.
Oh,
Yeah, if he
he's
has
doing
the
it as
intention,
sport, yeah.
if he has the intention that after I eat it, I will barbecue the animal, then it's okay.
Because even birds, the birds have to be the halal.
Yes.
Unless you shoot it.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
But otherwise, how do you even catch it? Right? The bird.
The birds, if you hit a bird,
Yeah.
then it falls down, and if you reach the bird before it dies and you kill it,
Yeah.
you slaughter it, then it is dhabiha.
What about if it?
Or if you send an animal. If you send an animal after it, you hit it with an arrow, and then the animal will catch it. This process of catching it is considered tazkiyah.
Okay, what about if it dies before it falls on the ground?
Before you reach to it, no.
Beside the how is that? Solid?
لازم تذبح.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people they go hunting for birds.
Yeah, yeah. They don't know the mas'ala.
Yeah.
They have to reach to it before it dies and slaughter it.
Right.
So no more barbecues?
That's my
Now you're gonna have to think about the duck you offer at the restaurant.
My uncle, not me. I mean, I see him. He has the dog. He'll shoot it, and then he has a video, and the dog goes.
The dog is okay. If the dog would catch it, al-kalb al-sayd, the dog for hunting, then that is considered tazkiyah.
But unless
If you send it, it's yours, and you send it after the animal.
Yeah. Sometimes they can't prove if it's dead or not. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's in the process of dying. You don't know exactly
If the dog reaches the animal
before it.
before it dies, and he will, catch it,
Yeah.
then that's it.
I was gonna ask him.
Ask the dog. Okay. So this is the first madrak.
How about other animals like deers or goats or?
If they are wild in the wild, yeah, same thing. Same thing, yes. But you have to reach them. No, the bird is when the dog goes after a bird. But other animals, you have to reach and slaughter them.
So you shoot the animal, you shoot it down, and then before it dies, you have to be there.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So, in this case, حرمت, so forbidden upon you.
Say, is this the surah in ayah that also, I did hear you say it, that with the hooves of their feet, where they have to have a certain number of hooves on their feet?
No, this is not the
This
one.
is not the
No, this is not the one. So this is number one. Number one evidence is the Quran. Okay, very clear regarding the non-dhabiha meat. What is another madrak which is less powerful than the Quran, but we still can use it from the usul? And it depends on rationality. Now, this is a verse in the Quran. It's enough for us. But to expand on the evidence, beside the Quran, what else we have? What else we have that supports from ilm al-usul? We studied that in ilm al-usul. In case you have shak. Before ihtiyat, we will come to the ihtiyat. Before the ihtiyat, what else? No. Istishab. Istishab what?
That it's unpure.
Impure. In case of if you have doubt, then you can apply the principle of istishab, continuity, that it is not pure, it is عدم التذكية. Okay? So if you have doubt, is this meat that is in front of you is mudhakka or not, then you apply the principle of continuity that it's not. It's not unless I have an evidence, someone comes and tells me, or I have an imara, indication or a sign. Okay? So, and there are of course many other riwayat beside the Quran. The first madrak is the Holy Quran. The second is al-istishab. The third one is what? Riwayat. And we have plenty, hundreds of riwayat from our Imams, Imam al-Baqir, Imam al-Sadiq. One of them is, one of these riwayats, Sahihat Sulaiman ibn Khalid. Sahiha, it is Sahiha. Okay? Sahiha Sulaiman ibn Khalid. From, he said, I asked, Sa'altu Aba Abdullah. I asked Abu Abdullah. Who's Aba Abdullah? As-Sadiq alayhi salam. I asked him about the ramya, the arrow. I hit the animal with an arrow. So is this, can I eat it or not? Imam says, إن كان يعلم أن رميته هي التي قتلته فليأكل. If you know that this animal has been killed by your arrow, yourself, not someone else, then you can eat that animal. Are you with me? In kana ya'lam, if you know. Not that the animal died of another reason, nor someone else shot the animal. You did. You did it. Then in that case, فَلْيَأْكُلْ, let him eat. And this means that you have to make sure. You have to make sure. So in case of doubt, you don't eat the animal. But in kana ya'lam, you have ilm. Ilm removes the doubt. So when you have ilm, then in that case you can eat the animal.
So if you shoot an animal, then you can eat it.
According to this hadith, then if you shoot him yourself, you shoot it yourself, and you reach to it, and you know that the animal was killed from your arrow, but then they differentiate between the bullet and the arrow. The scholars, they differentiate between the bullet being shot at by a bullet or by an arrow. They differentiate. Yes?
Sorry, say this. So it does say, and if you reach it before it dies, that's part of this.
Yes, yeah. And the animal dies of your own shot by an arrow. Then you can eat that animal. Okay? Now, let's come to this question. If you are sitting in an airplane, the airplane comes from a non-Muslim country. If the airplane comes from a majority Muslim country, then we have no problem flying with, airlines that, they belong to majority Muslim countries. Then this is Suq al-Muslimin. This is part of the market, flying market. Even if it is not in the country, it's thousands of miles away. Unless the catering came from another airport, and definitely that the catering is not halal. But if you don't know, then you assume that this is an Islamic market. The airplane is an Islamic market and they provide their customers with Islamic meat. Unless you know otherwise, that this specific airline, they are, yes, the country is Muslim, but they are kuffar. They don't care. On purpose, they give non-halal. I think some of them do. So in that case, you don't eat. But let's take Turkish Airlines as an example. As an example. Turkish airline belongs to Turkey, which is majority Muslim, so Turkey is an Islamic market. So even if you fly from LA or another destination, you don't have to ask about this is halal or not. Even if the catering from LA, because once the catering is on board, then it's in the Islamic market. Unless you know the source, the supplier, you know that company. They don't provide halal. Then that's a different issue. But if you don't know, then it is Suq al-Muslimin. So let's say you are on board another airline, okay? Another European, American, which is non-Islamic market. And they bring you meat with some rice around it, or some chicken with some rice and vegetables. Is that dish, is it najis or tahir? You can't eat the meat, definitely, or the chicken. But can you eat the vegetables and the rice and the surroundings?
No.
The mashed potato?
With the meat touching it,
Yeah, the meat touching it. There are two opinions. Opinion of some scholars who say we differentiate between hurma, don't eat, and between najasa. So we have two things. We have two things here. One of them is hurma, which is prohibition, hurma. One of them is najasa, impurity. They say these are two different things. Allah says here, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ. It's prohibited upon you to eat. But they say it doesn't mean that it is najis. So the surrounding you may eat, because they are two different things. It doesn't mean, meat, don't eat it, but it doesn't mean it's najis. Unless it is swine, unless it is pork. Dr. Ali, if it is pork, then all the surroundings are najis. Okay? But if it is meat, then in that case, one group of scholars, including Ayatollah al-Khoi, he says you can eat. You can eat the surrounding.
Even if the juice is there? The juice
If the juice, it comes from the meat, then no, because you can't eat. The juice belongs to the meat. But if you take out, let's say you skim, the meat and the juice, but the rest of it was not,
that hasn't touched the meat.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not wet by the meat.
Yes.
You don't use ihtiyat? Can you use ihtiyat? Can you say, I want to use ihtiyat and not eat?
Definitely.
You know?
You can use ihtiyat even when you go to an Islamic country. Some people, even when they are sitting in Mecca, they don't eat meat. I've seen them. They say the meat comes from foreign country. It's not being slaughtered here. They don't eat meat in Mecca. Ihtiyat. Ihtiyat, you can apply ihtiyat anytime. But the second group of scholars, they say these two are linked to each other. They are linked to each other. When it is haram, automatically it means it's najis. Okay? So you can't eat. You can't eat a meat. Now suppose there is no juice. The meat is very dry, khushk, very dry, and it touches the rice. According to the first group, you can eat the meat because there is no juice. Very, very dry. It did touch the rice, but it had no left, it left no residue or no marks on the rice. Okay? So you can eat the rice. But with the second group who say no, then you can't because it becomes najis. because the meat for them is najis.
What about the madrak that we talked about the other
The first one, let me finish. The first group, they say the meat is not najis. Yes, the meat did touch the bread, did touch the potato, did touch the rice, but it's not najis. Don't eat the meat, eat the rest. But the second group, they say no. Even the steam inside the dish, even if the rice is far from the meat, but they share the same steam, rutuba, so it becomes najis. This is the difference. Yes, Dr. Ali.
No, the madrak that we used the other day for the other maximum that Imam Jafar last time said that, let's say there's a dead rat in the not the oil, but the
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So we take it out, take out surroundings.
Yeah.
We can use this here too, take out the chicken and the surroundings and.
If, in this example, according to the second group who link these two together, the hurma, the prohibition, with the impurity, because when they are put in one dish and the dish is covered, and if the meat is hot, or they heat it, I think, in the microwave, yeah, in the airplane before they serve it, I think so. Then there is a steam inside, so it is going to be mixed with the steam of the meat, and therefore the rice or the potato or the vegetables or the bread is going to be contaminated. Okay? Whereas in that example of Imam al-Sadiq, the oil, the fat is solid. It doesn't have a steam. So you can skim. You can take the animal out and skim the surrounding. The rest is not contaminated. In this case, in one dish, unless they don't, it's very dry. They bring you a dish, on the side there is gusht, meat or chicken. On the other side, and it is, let's say, cold. Let's say cold. In that case, if you know they didn't touch each other, then you can eat. Yeah. Okay. So this is one mas'ala. But of course, many people believe that they are mutalaziman, connected to each other. Mutalaziman. So if it is haram, then it means it's najis. But Sayyid Khoi says no. There is no talazum. There is no connection. God says don't eat this because it has been offered to other than God. The name of God has been not mentioned. It doesn't mean it's najis. Don't eat it. Yes.
Some jurists sometimes believe in, like, let's say what Imam Khoi believed in.
Yeah.
But because they don't want people to confuse, they tell them in general, okay, they'll say the opposite of what they really think, just because it might cause confusion.
Not the opposite. They do ihtiyat. Many jurists, it's difficult when it comes to giving fatwa. Fatwa is a big responsibility. They don't want to be responsible. This is why the book of fatwa, sometimes, I mentioned this earlier, that sometimes when they write a book about fiqh, to study it, they say this is halal. But when they write fatwa, they come to the same issue, same mas'ala, they say don't do it. They contradict themselves. Why they contradict themselves? In that book of research, they say it's halal, it's okay. It's jaiz, permissible. But in the book of fatwa, they don't. They make it more difficult. Why? Because book of fatwa is manual. And therefore they choose the toughest situation, the toughest answer, not the easiest one. So they don't get into trouble. Are you with me? So sometimes they differ. When they discuss the lesson, when they teach this lesson, when they come to this specific issue, they say it's okay, you can practice it. I'll give you an example. Many of the jurists, ulama, heavyweight scholars, they say time for Salat al-Maghrib is sunset, actual sunset. Many of them. But then when it comes to a book of fatwa, they say pray 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes after. until the humra, the reflection, the yellowish reflection above your head is gone. Whereas in their class they say no, time is whenever the sunset is done. Because they need jur'ah, you know. Jur'ah, they need lots of courage and they don't want to take the responsibility.
Same with Ramadan.
They say stay on the safe side. It's better than, you know, being held accountable. Same thing with Ramadan. Yeah, same thing. Same thing with fasting, breaking the fast. They say it's better too because Quran says layl. Though many of them they say layl is the absence of sun, immediate absence of sun. But then they give this 10, 15 minutes as a precaution. As a precaution.
So say with we with he delinks the two, then could we apply that?
He delinks.
Delinks.
Yes, yeah.
Can we apply that if let's say leather was made out of pig, that we could wear it?
No. Pig is different.
It's exceptional.
This is why when God mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:3, He said, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ وَالدَّمُ وَلَحْمُ الْخِنْزِيرِ. Because لحم الخنزير is different than mayta. He did not include the flesh of the swine in the mayta. He didn't. It's independent. لحم الخنزير forbidden completely, even if you slaughtered Islamically.
No.
It would not turn
for
into.
consumption, but that.
Yeah,
that-
najis.
Even
Najis, of course.
But he just delinked it.
No. The meat, just the meat, not the flesh. Yeah, the meat. The meat, only when it comes to the meat. Only when it came to غير مذكى. In fact, Sayyid Khoi, he uses the term غير مذكى. He doesn't even use the term meat. He says غير مذكى is first stage. Then meat is the second stage. Yeah, but not the flesh, yeah, or the leather of the pig leather. Okay.
Some scholars actually, they say it's okay to wear the leather, even if it's wet. Isn't it true?
If you don't know for sure that the leather is genuine, 100% genuine leather. They say if the leather is not 100% genuine and it has been processed, chemicals were mixed with it, then it becomes halal. It's not 100% pure leather or genuine leather.
So if it's 100%, all scholars agree that it's najis.
100%, yes.
Not najis, but unacceptable.
Yes. No, najis becomes najis, yeah.
And the same reason for gelatin.
You can wear it, but you cannot pray with it.
Sorry, same reason for gelatin, because we talked about it's not in its original form. So it's been changed.
Yeah, but also they differ. Some scholars, like Sayyid al-Sistani, he says that if the gelatin is from animal, then even if it goes through process, it's not.
Yeah.
Sayyid al-Khoi says no. If it goes through a process, then it has a new status, so you can consume it. But Sayyid al-Sistani says no. Even if it goes through chemical processing, then still you cannot consume it.
Unless it's from pork.
No, even if it is from cow.
Oh, I mean.
Pork completely. You mean the Sayyid al-Khoi? Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that one, there is an exception when it comes to the pork. Yeah. Then we come to the last but not least. Now we saw someone slaughtering an animal, but we don't know whether all shara'it, all conditions are met. Because it's not one or two. Number one, he has to face the Qibla. Number two, he or she has to utter the name of God at the time of slaughtering. Number three, many Muslims, many jurists, they say he has to be a Muslim. He has to be a Muslim. Others, they say he has to be a Shia, like Imam Khomeini. He says he has to be a Shia, not just Muslim. Then it has to be with a sharp object, with a knife, not with something else, not with another object. With a knife made of what? Some say not a steel, it has to be iron. Yes. It is, some put difficult conditions. And I don't know whether they make nowadays. Most of it is steel. Most of it is steel. So this is also a problem. Please don't discuss this because you will be vegetarian. Yeah. So now, if we have shak, doubt, that some of these conditions are not met. For instance, the guy who was slaughtering, I know him. He's from, another, or he doesn't even believe in God. Okay? So what do we do?
If we have certainty, well, it has problems.
Some people, they work in Muslim countries and they are Muslims, but he says, I don't believe in God. So suppose you know the guy. He says in front of you in the previous times, I don't believe in God. And now you find him qassab, butcher. Okay, killing the animal. So what do you say? What do you do? If you have shak now, you have shak that some of these conditions are not met. I saw him slaughtering, but probably was not Qibla, was Las Vegas, So.
But you don't have ilm.
Huh?
But you don't have ilm.
No. I have shak. Of course, if I have ilm, problem is solved. Exactly. If I have shak, then asalatu adam al-tafkiyah. Then I say, no, this animal is not slaughtered Islamically. If some elements are missing. Others are there, but some are missing.
But you don't know if it's missing.
Habibi, shak. If you have shak.
But
Because listen, Dr. Ali, what is shak? One year, we used to go to Syria in the summertime. And Syria was country, the economy was sub-zero. They didn't have food. They didn't have a bread. Can you imagine 30 years ago, back in the 70s? So we had to go to Lebanon to purchase a bread. We crossed the border, go to Shtura.
Yeah.
There is a supermarket. Go buy chicken, bread, food, bring it to Syria. And we used to buy live chicken, live chickens. Put them in the car, tie their, legs, cross the border. So we came to a village, Ain al-Fija, and there is only one butcher in the village. My father said to him, please slaughter them. He stood against the Qibla, but he finished his job. My father said, why not Qibla? He said, I don't know. I don't face the Qibla. And then we realized that in other traditions, Qibla is not condition, only the tasmiyah. So my father left them. The man said, you don't need them? My father said, no. The man was so happy. He wished that my father every day, So in this case, if you saw the animal or the butcher standing not in front of the Qibla, and you have shak, was this Qibla or not? Shak, not ilm. If you have ilm, the problem is solved. But you have shak, doubt, then in case of shak, then you say adam al-tazkiyah.
So I guess my question is, you have to have ilm. I mean, I'm thinking that don't you have to have ilm so you don't eat at all from him? Because how can you use? Wasn't there?
But even if you have shak, when you have shak, other than Islamic countries.
Right.
But then in this case, if you have seen it, you have seen the butcher's shop, some of the elements are missing.
But there was a maxim.
Or he was standing next to you. He was standing. Sometimes you don't see him. Then they put the food. You say it's halal. But he was standing, but he didn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Even in his heart, you have shak that even inside he didn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
There's a maxim that I thought we studied that said as a Muslim you have to assume whatever he did is correct.
Yeah. But this maxim overrides.
Okay. But you
Overrides.
have to see him in a way, or have check on, or somebody will think I told you that this guy doesn't know what he's doing, or something like that.
It only override in case of Maita and
Yeah,
meat,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. The meat, yes, of course.
Other things.
No, of course. All other things you assume he's right. But in case of this tazkiyah, did he do tazkiyah or not? Then in case of shak, they say أصالة عدم التذكية وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين.